everyone. Welcome to Living Linkie Style. It is finally starting to warm up out there. I'm so excited. Springtime is coming, and that means summer is on its way. So you know what? We don't have to wait until fall to carve pumpkins. Today I'm going to show you how to carve some fruit and to do just to play around with different ideas for garnishing at your parties, or if you're home gating, or if you're just looking for another vessel other than plates and platters, then this is what you need. So there's so many different fruits that you can carve and so many different things you can do with it. One of my favorite things to play with is pineapple and watermelon and oranges, but really it's an open ball field. Whatever you can dream up, you can do. So just a quick little idea that I'll show you guys before we get started in the carving. And this is so much fun for kids to do at home. If you're looking for activities to keep them busy during the summertime, this is a lot of fun. I usually start and chop off both sides of my pineapple. And this pineapple is actually not that great anymore, but it means it's going to be just so much sweeter. And I just start and work my way around. And it's just such an easy way to peel it and get all of that stuff away, all of the skin away, without making a big mess. Look how fast and easy that was. And we'll discard this. I'll grab some paper towel. Because you're always, in the summertime, you're always looking for activities for your kids. So say, for example, your kids are bored and they want something to do, then this is a great activity that you can do, is like playing around with fruits, and you will get them to eat it. So what I usually do, and this is fun too if you want to do like different parties. So I slice a few slices, and you want to slice it fairly thick. That way it can hold up pretty well. And you can do this with cantaloupe, you can do it with honeydew. But what I use cookie cutters. And this is so much fun because then you can get some skewers. If I can find my skewers here. And you just press out, and I usually try to get some of the core in there because the core is very strong and it will hold your shape together. And you just press down very firmly, wiggle it around a little bit, and voila. Look at that. You have a beautiful shaped flower. So then you can start skewering, and you just want to gently start wiggling that back and forth into it. Make sure that you watch your fingers, that you don't stab yourself. If you have kids, you may want to help them with it. But look how pretty that is. Or say, for example, you want to do a flower, and let's say you want to do a strawberry. And you just want to do a round strawberry. You can slice that off. Remember to keep it fairly thick. And skewer it through. And this is so much fun if you want to do edible bouquets. We'll skewer that through. Maybe we'll top it off with another flower. Now the great thing about this is that you can use all fruits. So if you want something that you can stick your skewer into and it be displayed all pretty, then you can use some cantaloupe or honeydew. This gets a little tricky sometimes. Oh, there we go. Look how beautiful. And this would be fun for the kids to do. You can skewer grapes like this, or you can do whatever. And then what I sometimes do is I just half a cantaloupe or a honeydew, and then you stick it straight into that. We'll stick this straight into here, and it'd be displayed. So you can just have it fanned out and beautiful. Tell me that's not too cute. So if you don't want to play around with the pineapple, let's get the pineapple out of the way. Something fun, and I'm sure you guys do this all the time, is you do baskets out of watermelon. Get so sticky, my fingers get so sticky. So what I love to do is to play around with the watermelon and do different ideas. Like I said, either watermelon. Oh, all my fruit's gonna fall. This is just so pretty. It's so colorful. I love summertime. So for those of you that don't know how to do these baskets, they're so easy. You make 2 slits there, and sometimes what I do is I like to draw with a Sharpie, draw my marks first, and then you can carve it. So you would draw 2 slits on either side like that, or slice them. Make sure you slice down far enough, and then you just come around and you slice the bottom. But if you want to spice it up a little bit, you can zigzag it, which I'm going to show right now. Or if you want to do something fun, you can do a tail come out and make it look like it's almost like a whale. So without any ado, let's get started, and I'm actually going to grab a different knife for this. Let's see this one. All right, so what I usually do, I try to slice just a small little part, because that's going to keep your watermelon steady. It's going to make sure that it doesn't go back and forth. So then I start at the top. Oops. Be very careful when you do this. Slice down. And make sure that your handle is thick enough. And make sure you keep your fingers away. Ooh, there we go. And slice it down. And you want to bring it down a fair amount. So then if you want to do just a regular basket, you would bring that all around and connect it back to your other incision. Or if you want to do something more fun and do it zigzag, you would slice down, then you would slice back up again. Make sure your lines connect. Slice down and up. And make sure that you bring it down fairly low. That way you can harvest more fruit into your basket, or carry more fruit. I don't know if you're harvesting anything. Bring it down. And then you just want to make sure that you connect those lines, even if you have to carve it up slightly. And then this part, sometimes it gets a little tricky. This part just pops right off. And we'll get this side to pop off. Here, sometimes it's easier to just slice up and down and just get rid of the skin first. There we go. And so you have your basic shape of your watermelon. And then what you want to do is you can either just hollow that out if you don't want to use any of the watermelon in your basket, because sometimes what I like to do is I like to fill it with ice cream. Or if you want to use the watermelon in your basket along with some honeydew and cantaloupe, you would just start balling it out. And let me get a bowl, put that into. And then you can just add it back in later. Or you can add some vodka, drunk in all of this, and then add it back in. So this takes a little bit of time, but it's absolutely beautiful when you get done with it. Or like I said, if you just want to hollow it out and not worry about melon balling it, then you can just use a spoon and just scoop out all of this. And then you just kind of work your way through until you basically have all of your watermelon out of there. And you would do exactly the same on the other side, except what I usually do is I slice another slice right here to make sure that your handle stays strong. So then when you do the other side, which I can do that right quick, I absolutely love watermelon. One of my favorite things in the summertime to make is watermelon and cherry tomato salad. It's just something summery. So you would slice it all the way down, bring it back up, and there you go. Now, keep in mind, you can always do this with other fruit as well. Try to get this out a little bit. Let me make an incision. Make sure that this time I split it off a little bit easier. There we go. That's a sweet one. So delicious. All right, there we go. Uh-oh. And look how beautiful. So then you just hollow it out, and then you've already made your slit right here. So it would be easy to just run your knife up and down and just push this way through. You just have to kind of work it. It's kind of like carving a pumpkin. And look, you have your beautiful basket. Look how cute. And then you just would hollow all of this out or melon ball it out. All right, so enough with the watermelon. Let's get that, set that to the side. Like I said, this is fun to do with any other fruits as well. What I love to do is I love to do it with oranges, and there's a good reason why. We're not going to melon ball anything out of the orange, but what I love to do is to do kind of sort of the same thing. You're going to start by making your slit up and down, and I'm actually going to use a smaller knife. And I will say this, when you're carving fruit or when you're carving anything, even pumpkins, go to other places like craft stores and go check out other crafts. You know, sometimes you'll find painting tools or something that's very helpful in helping you get that little doodad out if you're doing fine carvings. Or sometimes they just have cool gadgets. So check it out. So the orange, we'll bring that down some. The fun thing about the orange is that you can use up the juices and make some mimosas. So you would remove that part and this part. And then it's kind of the same concept. You're just going to make sure that you slice that up and down, get your little cores out. And then with a melon baller or a small spoon, you can just kind of very gently work out the rest of the juices, the rest of the orange, until it's completely out, so that you basically have a carrying vessel. And then what I love to do is I like to fill it with some ice cream. And you can use any kind of ice cream, but I love to use any kind of a red ice cream or sorbet or something, because then this is what you end up with. You have your little carrying vessels. And the great thing about this is that you can do this, you could do this way ahead of time before your guests arrive, and it's a fun way of serving ice cream. Something else you can do is you can carve your watermelon like this, fill it with ice cream, and then maybe fill it with whipped cream and people can just scoop out. So that's another fun thing to do. So that is the orange. I mean, this is just, look how cute. It's just so precious. And you can even, if you wanted to, take cherries, not cherries, blueberries, and toothpick it all around the side for a kid's party. It would be fun. Or even better, you can use this as a kid's activity at a party or something where the kids can play and make their own little baskets with ice cream in it. Just make sure that you use caution using the knives. Maybe that's the part that the mom will do. Get that sit back in there. I'm going to enjoy that later. So the next thing, I love to play around with apples. So what I love about using apples is the fact that you can create so many different beautiful items with it, and it's perfect to garnish fruit plates, or if you're doing buffets, it's absolutely beautiful. It's just something about garnishing with edible things and edible flowers that just says organic, fresh, healthy, clean. So with the apple, we're going to start out the same way we started off with the watermelon. We're going to slice. That way that's going to stay put. It's not going to go anywhere. And I will say, when you're using apples, you may want to make sure that you have either lemon juice or orange juice, or sometimes pineapple juice works very well to make sure that you sprinkle it. I'm going to use lime juice in this case to keep the apple from browning. So we're going to keep this little part, and I am just going to, there we go, do one little drop of lime juice. And then what we start by making incisions like this. And it's basically a little leaf shape. And you're going to set that apart. And the next incision, you're going to go a little bit further out. Make sure that it connects. And you're going to set that apart. Now, keep in mind, you want to make sure that you keep all your pieces together. And then the next little part, I'm going to go a little further out. This takes a little bit of practice, but once you get it, it's perfect. All right, so then this, you're going to do the same thing on the side. Make your little incision. Set it aside. Make the next incision. What I love about using Granny Smith apples is the fact that they are so nice and firm, so it's easy to cut. All the way down. And the thinner you keep your slices, the more of these little leaves you can keep out. I'm keeping it big now so that I can show you guys on camera. So you've got the side, you've got the middle part, and now we're going to do the other side. Exactly the same on the other side. Set it aside. Make sure you use a nice sharp knife. Uh-oh, can't get that out. Now, how fun would this be if you're having a bar set up or something at a party, and you're serving appletinis, and you have a couple of the swans sitting around the martini glasses. All right, so remember what I said about the sprinkling of some lime juice, and you're going to sprinkle the same on the other side. Oops, not that that went everywhere except where I wanted it to go. All right. And then from this point on, you're going to start filling back in the gaps. So you're going to set the first little part, second little part, third little part. Same thing on the side. Oh, hold on. I was doing it this way around. There we go. And don't worry, they will stick back. And look how absolutely beautiful. So now you have the swan's body. How do you get the neck? Well, that's why you saved this little part. So this is a little tedious, but you can do it. I know you guys can do it. I have faith. Basically, what you want to do is you want to carve out the swan's head. So I usually start out and just very gently work my way around, making small little pieces, small steps, until you get to the top. And then I usually use the natural curve of the apple, especially on the head part, to do that head. So I make a slit right there. So basically you have this slit and you have one straight down, and then you can just kind of mangle out. So that's basically the shape that you want, and then you can just carve this head around and make sure it curves all the way around. And you're going to bring that around and slice down. And there you have the head. So usually what I do is I just take a toothpick and you just stick it in. Just kind of jam it in there. So then to cover up the toothpick, what I usually do is I use a little bit of parsley or some, trying to jam this in there without breaking my swan. There we go. Some parsley or some cilantro or something that you can also just kind of pin onto the toothpick. And then sometimes if you want, what I do for the eyes of the swan is you can use cloves. If you stick a clove in there before you attach it to the actual body, then it's absolutely beautiful. So there we have a perfectly good swan. And like I said, it's so beautiful if you want to do it with different apples. Or now that you have that basic technique good to go, you can do other things too by just carving. Say for example, you want to do flowers. You can just carve up and down, make little leaf parts. This could be so much fun if you just play around with it. And the great thing about this is that the more you practice, the better you get at it. And like I said, you don't have to keep it to just apples. You can use all kinds of different fruits and vegetables. I could play with my food all day, every day. It just makes it so much more fun. So once you have all of that, look how beautiful. Then you can start the next one down. You can either do the same thing like you did with the swans by cutting down and then scooping this part out. Let's see if we can do that without, let's see. Look how gorgeous. And you can do the same way here. Bring it down. The hardest thing about this is to make sure that you don't cut yourself. But there's all kinds of different carving tools that you can use for this. So you can either do that and then have your apple like this, or if you want, you can just continue doing different incisions and making a really, really pretty apple. Look how gorgeous. So there's no reason to spend all this extra money on garnishes if you can just be creative with fruits and vegetables. Look how beautiful that is. That is absolutely, I'm sorry, but that's pretty. So you can do something like that. And this is the great thing. You don't have to just stick with fruits. You can use vegetables as well. You know, like I said, finding other vessels other than plates and platters just makes your party so much more interesting. So, for example, if you wanted to do I'll do a small little slit right there, but make sure that you don't cut all the way through, that it's still just enough to keep that standing. If you wanted to do the same thing as the watermelon, we'll start out low and we'll go up a little higher, make it funky. This is fun to do with tomatoes too. Because then what you would do is you just stab all the way through to the middle, and then you have two flowers, which I can show. And look at that. Then you have, and you can actually use both parts. You would just scoop out all of the seeds. And this is perfect for, you guessed it, vegetable dips. Scoop out the seeds and make sure you rinse it out. Oh, well, I just lost my center. But anyways, you want to make sure that you don't lose your center. Or if you have this sitting somewhere, it's actually okay. Or you could put a piece of saran wrap on the bottom. So this one is actually perfect. It is ready to host some vegetable dip. And you may just want to make sure you take all of this out. But look how perfect. And it's so pretty and so beautiful. And you can do different colors peppers. And there you have your vegetable dip. It can't get any more simple than this, people. All right, so we'll set that aside. Get this out of the way. All right, so say for example that you don't want to have any kind of vessels, but you just want to make sure that you have something pretty, then you can take an orange or a tomato and just peel it. Make sure that you keep the peel or the skin intact, and you can make a beautiful rose. Now the great thing about doing this is orange peel always just smells so delicious to me. So your food will smell fresh and will smell delicious the whole way. So basically you would just start at the bottom and you would just keep twisting around. Keep twisting around. Bring that around. And then you would have your beautiful flower. And you can cut it off if you want to make it a little bit more an open flower. And just twist it around. So you have a beautiful flower. Or, say for example, you want to mix up some cocktails and you just want to play around and do something fun. Maybe some sangrias or maybe some summer sparkly or some white wine, and you just want to make it more fun for the family. You get these cute little melon ballers right here that you can do different fruits with and just keep it nice and funky. Look at that. And you can pick this up at a craft store or any little store, and you can use pineapple, you can use strawberries. If you dream it, you can do it. And look how pretty that is. It is just so nice, so summery, so perfect for entertaining. I hope you guys get out there and get to carving. I'll see you next time. Find me on Facebook and Twitter, Linkie Marais, and on my website, livinglinkie.com. Cheers.